Hi everyone. Today we will discuss about types of strain gauges in stress strain measurements subject unit. So in this unit we already discussed what is stress and what are the different types of stresses and what is strain, what are the types of strains and what is stress strain measurements we already discussed. So the strain gauge is used to measure the stress strain under different uh, forces or acceleration are acting on that any of object or area, any of instrument. So the stress and the strain is also calculated by using these types of strain gauges. In yesterday's class we will discuss about the what is a strain gauge and what is the purpose of strain gauge and what is the history of strain gauge, and also what is the working of strain gauge, what are the constructional details of strain gauge. These we are discussed in yesterday's class. Today we will discuss about what are the different types of strain gauges used to measure the stress strain. Okay, so the main purpose of strain gauge is used to measure the different forces or accelerations or speed or any type of density, stress or strain are acting on that body. So it should be overloaded. So that overload causes the instruments or the object should be damaged. So in this purpose, we can calculate the stress and strain by using different types of strain gauges. You can see we already discussed what is strain gauge. The strain gauge is a passive resistive transducer which converts the mechanical elongation and compression into a resistance change. You can take the strain gauge. So in that strain gauge, it is connected to the object. The strain gauge is connected to the object. So in that strain gauge, whenever we apply the loads on that strain gauge, suppose it different stresses are acting on that body, or different forces are acting on that body, different densities are acting on that body, any type of forces, stress or strains acting on that body, it should be elongated. It should be elongated. The compressive forces are acting on that body, or other uh, or the tensile forces are acting on that body, constant forces, any type of forces are acting on that body, automatically it should be elongated. The body is elongated and the connection of this strain gauge is also elongated. So this elongation is occurred due to we are using you can see what is shouldering pads for connecting wires, shouldering pads for connecting wires. In this wise we can develop resistance by using Wheatstone bit circuit. By using that Wheatstone bit circuit we can develop the resistance and also how much amount of voltage is generated in that particular area. It is also calculated by using that Wheatstone bit circuit. Okay, so what is the conversion? It is the mechanical elongation and the compression into resistance change. The mechanical elongation is occurred on the strain gauge, and the compression, mechanical elongation and compression uh, is converts into the resistance. Okay, so that is the main working of this strain gauge. So why do we measure strain? We already discussed utility of strain measurement as means of determining maximum stress values. We determine the maximum stress values are in specialized transducers to measure force, pressure, acceleration, torque. The specialized transducers are used to measure the maximum force or maximum pressure, maximum acceleration or maximum torque is to be calculated by using different types of strain gauges. Okay, so these purpose we are using strain. So these types of forces or loads pressures are acting on that body or any type of object, any type of instruments, any type of area, so that should be damaged. So in that amount of maximum, the object should reach the maximum value. So the breaking point is reached, automatically it should be broken. So that's why we are calculate that maximum value. So I am taking one object. So what is that maximum value of that component? What is the maximum load capacity of that point I'm calculating? So only the limited amount of loads are acting on that body. So how much amount of stresses or how much amount of strains is developed on that body, it is calculated by using strain gauges. Okay, so that is why to measure strain, that is the purpose of we are using strain gauges. And what is the history, we already discussed. And what is the structure? You can see what is the structure. It is end loops. It is the end loops. End loops we will place it the grid. We will place it the grid. And active grid length, backing, and encapsulation. You can see that shoulder tabs. The shoulder tabs are connected to the electrode wires. In that electrode wires are connected to the Wheatstone bit circuit. By using that Wheatstone bit circuit, we can generate the resistance by this uh, strain gauge. Okay, mainly whenever the load apply on that strain gauge, it is a compressive load or a tensile loads are acting on that body. The grid, it is changed the length. You can see it is the active grid length. It is the active grid length. So the active grid length is to be varied whenever we apply the loads on this strain gauges. The active grid length is varying, so automatically it will generate the resistance. Okay, what are the points to design strain gauge? What are the main points to take to design a strain gauge? Suppose, for example, I'm constructing one strain gauge. What type of properties you are maintaining? What type of steps you are taking? What are the different points to be taking and to manufacture one strain gauge? So these are very important points to design a strain gauge. Extremely small size and a negligible mass. So the weight of the strain gauge is very less, is to be maintained, and the size is also very small. Okay, so that is one main point in that strain gauges. Simple and easy attachment to the specimen under testing. Simple and easy attachment to the specimen. Different area. Suppose does stress is measured in particular object. So in that particular object, the strain gauge is attached to that object, is very simple attachment. We can maintain a very simple attachment. So that simple attachment, we can get the simple operation. There are no skilled operators are required. In that simple attachment, we can get the correct values also. So based upon these properties, we can maintain simple and easy attachments and good response in unusual with changes in the surface to which is fixed under non-interface with the stiffness and other characteristics of the member which is to be mounted. So these are the different points to be taken to design a strain gauge. These are the main points to design one strain gauge. Okay, so what is the working of this strain gauge is the strain gauge is connected to the Wheatstone bits. Whenever we apply the loads on this strain gauge, automatically the grid length is to be varied. The grid length is to be varied. So the grid length is changed. We can connect a resistance Wheatstone bit circuit. In that Wheatstone bit circuits have the resistance. So in that resistance, the grid length is to be varied. The resistance is also developed, and how much amount of resistance developed and how much amount of voltage is developed in that circuit, we should be calculated. Okay, you can see what is the gauge factor in this. What is the formula of gauge factor? The sensitivity of a strain gauge is described in terms of a characteristics called gauge factor. This sensitivity of strain gauge, so This mechanical elongation it's converted into, and the compression is converted into resistance. Okay, electrical resistance. This electrical resistance uh, we should call gauge factor. It is called gauge factor. So gauge factor K is equal to uh, change in resistance to the original resistance by change in length to the original length. So that is the formula of gauge factor. K is equal to change in resistance to the original resistance by change in length by original length. Okay, it is the formula of gauge factor. The gauge factor is related to the Poisson's ratio. The gauge factor is related to Poisson's ratio. The Poisson ratio is indicated as mu. Then gauge factor K is equal to 1 plus 2 mu. Okay, so this formula we are applied in the different problems. The problems we will see in further classes. So coming to today's topic, what are the different types of strain gauges? Based on principle of working, these types of strain gauges are different methods. That methods, one of the method is based upon the principle of working. So in the principle of working, it is different. Then it should be manufactured at different types of strain gauges. One is mechanical strain gauges and electrical strain gauges and piezoelectric strain gauges. These are the based upon the working principle. And next one based upon the mounting, uh, it is bonded strain gauge and unbonded strain gauge. So based upon mounting means attachment to the object. Okay, and next one based upon the construction, those construction of that strain gauge. So the manufacturing of strain gauges is different types of manufacturing techniques are used to manufacture the strain gauge. In that, different types of materials are used, different types of polymers or ceramic materials, construction, circuit analysis, different types are used. So based upon that construction, um, there are different types of strain gauges. It is foil strain gauge, semiconductor strain gauge, photoelectric strain gauge. So in this class we will discuss these types of strain gauges. uh, First one, mechanical strain gauge. It is made up of two separate plastic layers. You can see it is made up of two separate plastic layers. The bottom layer has a ruled scale on it, and the top layer has a red arrow or pointer. So it is made up of two separate plastic layers. So in this mechanical strain gauge, it has two separate plastic layers. Okay, the bottom layer has a ruled scale. The bottom layer, suppose it is one of the layer and it is one of the layer. You can see it is the bottom layer, it is the up layer. The bottom layer has a ruled scale. That means the bottom layer has ruled scale. We can measure the strain gauge in terms of values because of the calibrated scale is mentioned in the bottom layer. Bottom layer, bottom layer. So the scale is mentioned, and the calibrated scale is mentioned like this. And the top layer has a red arrow. The top layer has a red arrow. You can see this small circle, that is the top layer. That is the top layer. You can see it is bottom layer, it is top layer. In this top layer we can arrange a red arrow or pointer. A red indication arrow or pointer is placed in this top layer. One layer is glued to one side of the crack. One layer is glued to one side of the crack and one layer to the other. As the crack opens, the layers slides very slowly past one another and the pointer moves over the scale. So the red crosshairs move on the scale as the crack widens. You can see what is the working of this, how it will works a mechanical strain gauge. You can see there are two different plastic layers. One is bottom layer and another one is top layer. The bottom layer has a ruled scale. That means a calibrated scale is fixed on that bottom layer, and the top layer has a red arrow or a pointer is placed on this top layer. One of the layer is glued to one side of the crank, one of the layer. So in these two layers, one of the layer is sticked with the uh, one side of the crank. That means you can see this knob. It is also called crank. Okay, so one of the crank is attached to this crank. So in this, it is connected to the some connection is to the pointer. So the pointer, then that means the top layer is connected to this crank and one layer to the another. So in this, the one layer is to the bottom layer and the top layer is also the connection with some mechanism is used in this strain gauge. And the crack opens whenever the crack is opens. If the object is connected through this mechanical strain gauge, suppose it is the object, it is the object. So we are applying load on this object. We are applying load on this object. So the length of the object should be increased. The length of the object should be increased. It should be elongated. So this elongation is this knob is activated. So the knob is activated and it moves in this side of the mechanical strain gauge. Automatically the pointer should be moving. Automatically the pointer should be moving. We can calculate the how much amount of stress are acting on that body. We can calculate by using this mechanical strain gauge. Okay, so in this mechanical strain gauge, we are using the mechanical connection between this object and the strain gauge device, and also a mechanism is also used in this strain gauge. Okay, so that is the working of the mechanical strain gauge. And next one, electrical strain gauge. When an electrical wire is stretched within the limits of its elasticity such that it does not break or permanently deform, it will become narrower and longer. Changes the increase its electrical resistance end to end. Strain can be inferred by measuring the change in resistance. So we are applying strain on this body. You can see when an electrical wire is stretched within the limits of its elasticity. When an electrical wire, so it is the electrical wire, you can observe it is the electrical wire. So the electrical wire is stretched with the object. This electrical wire is stretched with the object. Okay, so such that it does not break or permanently deform. It does not breaken, it does not broken. This wire or this object, it does not broken or permanently deformed. So it is in permanently deformed, not, it is not a permanently deformed material. It will become narrower and longer. Whenever we apply the high amount of loads on this object, it should be elongated. Okay, so that is it will be narrower and longer, changes the increase its electrical resistance end to end. Whenever we apply the loads on this, whenever we apply the loads on this object, automatically it should be elongated, but it gets a very high amount of loads are acting on this object. Okay, so these electrical wires are acting so much amount of loads that is generates the electrical resistance at end to end. So the electrical resistance is developed in this object. Okay, so by measuring electrical device, we can measure how much amount of resistance is developed in this object. So that we calculate the uh, stress and strain of this by using electrical strain gauge. Okay, strain can be inferred by measuring change in resistance. The change in resistance that should be calculated strain. Okay, so that is the electrical strain gauge. And next one, piezoelectric strain gauge. Piezoelectric generates electric voltage when strain is applied over it. Strain can be calculated from voltage. Piezoelectric strain gauges are the most sensitive and reliable devices. Piezoelectric generates the electrical voltage. So the piezoelectric circuits is placed in that piezoelectric strain gauge. Okay. So in this strain gauge, the piezoelectric circuit we will placed in the manufacturing, uh, and this whenever we apply the loads on this piezoelectric strain gauges, are the piezoelectric strain gauge is attached to with one object. The object acts as different loads. Automatically the piezoelectric strain gauge is also gets that amount of loads. Okay, so the piezoelectric generates the electrical voltage. So by this device, suppose I'm taking one a plastic or a rubber box. Okay, so I am adding some amount of loads on this body. I'm adding some amount of loads on this body. So in this, I am connecting this piezoelectric strain gauge. This piezoelectric strain gauge. Okay, you can see this piezoelectric strain gauge. This piezoelectric strain gauge is manufactured with the electricity of the material, and it passes electricity. Okay, and the piezoelectric circuit is also placed in this piezoelectric strain gauge. Okay, so it will generate the voltage whenever we apply the loads on this object. Automatically it should be elongated, and it should get uh, and the change in the length of the object is to be varied. So in that varied length, it is also be taking this piezoelectric strain gauge. So in that length is to be the change in length, it is to be calculated resistance. So in that resistance, we are also calculate the voltage, how much amount of voltage is developed in this um, object, and how much amount of strain is applied on that object. We should be calculated by using this device. So the piezoelectric strain gauges are the most sensitive and reliable devices. It is very most sensitive materials, and very reliable devices. The most sensitive means it should be um, it should be calculated high amount of strains or a different amount of stresses or pressures are acting on that body, but uh, the breaking point or the maximum point reached the strain gauge, it should be broken. Okay, so it has a piezoelectricity, um, circuits is placed in that strain gauge, so that is very sensitive. Any type of high amount of loads are acts on that strain gauge, it should be damaged. Okay, so that is the piezoelectric strain gauge. By using that piezoelectric strain gauge, we can measure the strain. Okay, and next one, bonded strain gauge. A bonded strain gauge element consisting of a metallic wire, etched foil, vacuum deposited film, or semiconductor bar is cemented to the strained surface. You can see the construction. Suppose he is taking one paper. In that paper, it is the strain gauge is felt on the paper. The strain gauge is felt on the paper. So in that strain gauge, we already known about the what is the strain gauge principle. The strain gauge element have consisting of a metallic wire. So in that leads are connected to the V-stone bit circuit, and edge to foil is placed in that strain gauge, and the vacuum deposited film is also placed in that strain gauge. It is working as a semiconductor device. It is cemented to the strained surface. So it is placed on the strained surface. Whenever we apply the loads on that uh, paper, you can see it is the paper. It is the paper. So the strain gauge is felt on the paper. Whenever we apply the loads, or suppose the load acting in this directions, the compressive strains are acting on this direction, or tensile forces are acting on this direction. Any type of loads are acting on this object, it should be elongated, or it should be uh, compressible. So automatically the wire grid also the length is changed. So in that change in length is also calculate the original change in original length to the change in length. It is calculated as resistance. Okay, the resistance is developed in the we are acting on the loads on this object. Okay, so that is the working of the bonded strain gauge. It is bonded with the object. That means it is felt on the object. It is stick to the object. Okay, next one, unbonded strain gauge. It is unbonded strain gauge. The unbonded strain gauge consists of a wire stretched between 2 points. Wire is stretched between 2 points in an insulating medium such as air. Such as air. One end of the wire is fixed and other end is attached to a mobile element. So the overall strain gauge is not attached with the object. The overall element, that means the overall strain gauge is not attached with the object. Only the ends of the wires are connected with the object. You can see there are 2 points. The unbonded strain gauge consists of a wire stretched between 2 points. Wire is stretched between 2 points. Is an insulating medium such as air, and one end of the wire is fixed and the other end is attached to a mobile. You can see unbonded strain gauges. These are the unbonded strain gauges. That means unbonded wires and mata. Okay, the unbonded wires and insulation pins. Insulation pins. These are the insulation pins. So one end of the insulation pins are fixed. One end of the insulation pins are fixed, and the other end of the unbonded strain gauges are connected to the object. It is the object. Okay, this is the object. The unbonded wires are connected with the object. It is the frame. Okay, so the force acting on this direction, the force acting on this direction. So whenever we apply the force on the object, it should be elongated, it should be deformed. The shape is deformed automatically. the unbonded strain gauge wires are also elongated, so it's why we can calculate the um, how much amount of stress or strain are acting on the body by measuring resistance. Okay, through resistance. So the resistance is developed on this strain gauge. We can calculate the how much amount of stresses or strains are acting on this body by using resistance. Okay, so that is the overall working of the unbonded strain gauge. So what is the main thing in this unbonded strain gauge is uh, the strain gauge is not uh, connected to the object, only the unbonded wires are connected to that object. Okay, foil strain gauge. The foil strain gauge has metal foil photo etched in a grid pattern on the electric insulator of thin resin and gauge leads attached. So foil strain gauge and the semiconductor strain gauge and the photoelectric strain gauges are different materials, are different. The construction and the manufacturing procedure is different. So you can see that foil strain gauge. It is the diagram of the foil strain gauge. So it is very sensitive. The foil strain gauge has a metal foil. You can see the foil strain gauge has a metal. So it is the metal. It is the metal. Okay, metal foil photo etched in a grid pattern. The grid pattern is placed in this. The grid pattern is placed on this metal foil. On the electric insulator, the electric insulator are connected this grid pattern on the metal foil. Okay, of thin resin and gauge leads attached. The gauge leads are attached. The gauge leads are attached. So in this foil strain gauge, we will connect the object whenever we apply the way we calculate the stresses or strains or maximum pressure or maximum acceleration. So those things those types we can calculate it by using this foil strain gauge. We can calculate the maximum amount of stresses or strains or pressures or acceleration. Okay, so that is the foil strain gauge. And next one, semiconductor strain gauge. So in that semiconductor strain gauge, the construction is very simple in this semiconductor strain gauge, and the size of this semiconductor strain gauge is very small. For measurements of a small strain, semiconductor strain gauges, so called piezo resistors. The for measurement of small strain, only the small amount of strain should be calculated by using this semiconductor strain gauges. We can calculate the strain. It is also called piezo resistors. It is also called piezo resistors are often preferred over foil gauges. Semiconductor strain gauges depend upon the piezoresistive effects of silicon or germanium and measure the change in resistance with stress as opposed to strain. So the change in resistance, it becomes the stress and strain. So whenever we apply the stresses or strains on that body, the stress is changed. It should be elongated. Automatically, the resistance is also changed. So whenever the resistance is changed, the stress and strain is also calculated by using this semiconductor strain gauge. And next one, photoelectric strain gauge. The photoelectric strain gauge uses a light beam, two fine gratings, and a photocell detector to generate an electrical current that is proportional to strain. The gauge length of this device can be as short of 1 to the 16th inch, but they are costly and delicate. So these photoelectric strain gauges are uh, s- the very small in length, and it has very costly and very delicate. Okay, so the photoelectric gauges uses a light beam. So the photoelectric light beam is passed on to the object. Whenever we apply the loads on that object, it should be generate the electrical voltage. It should be generated electrical voltage. So based upon that electrical voltage, we can calculate the stresses or strains on that um, object, that is photoelectric strain gauge. So what are the strain gauge selection criteria? It is gauge length, number of gauges in gauge pattern, arrangement of gauges in gauge pattern, grid resistance, temperature sensitivity, carrier material, gauge weight, availability, and low cost. These are the different selections criteria of the strain gauge. And advantages, there is no moving parts and it is very small and inexpensive. Disadvantages, it is non-linear and it needs to be calibrated. You can see what are the applications of these strain gauges: residual stress, vibration measurement, torque measurement, bending and deflection measurement, compression and tension, and strain measurement. uh, these strain gauges are used in this calculation of residual stresses or vibrations or torque or bending and deflection measurements. Compression and tension measurements are strain measurements. We are using these types of strain gauges. So thank you guys.